Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video, we're taking a first look at the brand new Zacian crowned form in the Master League. These battles were submitted to the channel by a member of the community, Mr. Pusha78, so many thanks for the battle submission. Now currently, the crowned forms are only available at GoFest Osaka, but they will have a global release during the Global GoFest, which is going to take place in a few short weeks. Now, Crowned Zacian is adding a Steel typing to its Fairy typing, and it has a new move, which is Behemoth Blade. So without further ado, let's hop onto the matches and take a look at Crowned Form Zacian in the Master League. Hopping into game number 1, leading into a Crowned Form Zacian from the opponent. We're going to see a safe switch into the riperior, and unfortunately that is going to be answered with a Landorus. This is a terrible spot to be if you're the riperior. The opponent overfarms, they actually end up throwing on poor timing here. Sanseer Storm into Riperior does not KO. The bad timing from the opponent costs them. If they threw on good timing, they could have farmed down, but instead, they're forced to give up a shield. Now in comes Kyurem White. Kyurem White more than happy to absorb whatever gets thrown here. It is going to be the Stone Edge, and now it's Zacian Crown Form versus Zacian Crown Form. Ideally, this early in the switch clock, you don't want to debuff yourself with a close combat, so out comes Behemoth Blade, and that absolutely rocks the opposing Zacian. They're going to go for Behemoth Blade as well, and the final Pokemon is revealed to be Palkia. Now, any Dragon type is going to have an absolute nightmare against Zacian Crown Form because these Dragon Breaths are triple resisted. Close combat lands, there's the switch into the Kyurem, and this is just to reset the defense drop on the Zacian. Spacer Wren will pick up the KO, but Zacian is going to get the full Metal Claw farm down, and that is a Game 1 win. Moving into game number 2, picking up a very positive lead, leading Kyurem White into Riperior. Riperior is going to strike first. They have farmed up to a Rock Wrecker. Rock Wrecker, of course, would be devastating, so it will need to be respected, but unfortunately, it only ends up being a Breaking Swipe bait. Here, the opponent is not going to get a move. They're getting fully farmed down by the Ice Fangs, and out comes Meloetta. A bait from the Kyurem, trying to fish for a shield. Meloetta will end up committing the shield, and now Meloetta is going to be hit with an Ice Burn. Ice Burn still incredibly threatening in this matchup. Meloetta lets it go, and Kyurem has done so much work already. Zacian should be able to clean up here. In comes Zacian. Oh no, it's Florges in the back, and that's just a nightmare for Florges. They're out of there, and that game is over. We move to the next match, Kyurem once again staring down Zacian Crown Form. A little bit of lag at the start, the safe switch into Riperior, answered with the RPS Whale, as out comes Kyogre. Kyogre never really gonna do a lot in the Master League these days unless it's aligned into a dominant matchup like Riperior. In comes the Kyurem, and Kyurem's going to get an incredibly nice Ice Fang farm down here. This Kyogre is on Origin Pulse, so they're not even running coverage. They get fully farmed down. The opponent deciding not to send in Zacian, instead they're bringing in Palkia. Palkia going to be hit with the Ice Burn. That's big damage. In comes Zacian, and the opponent is now going to send in their own Zacian. Crowned Zacian is bulky enough that you should be able to just go straight close combat in this matchup. Both moves will hit for neutral. Opponent goes for the Behemoth Blade. Behemoth Blade obviously doesn't debuff your defense, but it's more expensive. So I think in the mirror, just going straight close combat is going to be the way. The Metal Claws are adding up quite a bit now that the defense has been debuffed, but overall this still feels like a pretty fine situation. It does end up being a charge tap priority tie, which the opponent is going to lose, and another close combat is going to come through. In comes Palkia trying to snipe the Zacian, but a beautiful catch, catching the Aqua Tail onto the Kyurem. Back in comes the Zacian, able to make it to the close combat. This is neutral damage, but it should be enough to KO. Down goes the opposing Zacian, and this game also will end in a win. Hopping into the next match, Kyurem finally not staring down a Zacian, this time staring down Ho-Oh. I do think Ho-Oh stocks will be up in a pretty big way with the addition of Crowned Zacian, as obviously adding a Steel type means Ho-Oh is going to be a lot more of a problem. Speaking of a problem, there's a Sacred Fire attack drop onto this Kyurem. Kyurem baits with the Fusion Flare and is able to grab a shield. The opponent gonna opt for a Brave Bird here. They do not have enough energy for the Sacred Fire, so this will force them out. They are gonna switch out here, and we actually see a simultaneous swap. Crown Form Zacian into Dragon Tail Groudon. No baits here, going straight for Behemoth Blade. Do they respect it? Yes, they do. We saw the neutral damage that it did in the mirror. The opponent is not going to mess around with trying to call a bait. Precipice Blades connects, and down goes Zacian. In comes the Kyurem. Kyurem just going to fire off the Fusion Flare to pick up the KO here. Groudon is going to get knocked out, and in the back, the opponent is going to have their own Riperior, but they do have the Shadow. Opponent should be firing off the Rock Wrecker here. Rock Wrecker does do more damage, and they will go for the Rock Wrecker. We will see the Rock Wrecker fired off by Mr. Pusha. Tried to wait the turn there, but the game did not visually update. It does land on its intended target. Ho-Oh gets the farm down. Kyurem needs to get to the Fusion Flare, and does. The opponent was 3 Incinerates off of the move, so Kyurem gets the outpace. Down goes Ho-Oh, and the game is over. Moving into the next match, picking up a dominant lead win, Kyurem White into Kyogre. Opponent safe switches into Dialga, and there's an amazing response available with Zacian. I will say, with the Zacian Crown Form release, I do think Dialga stocks will go down in the Master League, as unfortunately, Ironhead only hits for neutral against the Zacian Crown Form, whereas Zacian can still hit back for massive super effective damage with Close Combat. Close Combat is going to connect, down goes Dialga, in comes Kyogre, and we are going to see Kyogre now be hit with the Close Combat. Close Combat will do quite a lot of damage. Zacian tries to get to another Close Combat, but the Waterfall picks up the KO. In the back is Primarina, and this game is over as Riperior can absolutely destroy Primarina. Riperior goes for a bait here. Honestly, to me, this feels like too risky of a bait, and we see why the opponent calls the bait. You don't need to bait as Riperior to win this matchup. Charm Primarina is never going to be able to charm down Riperior. The good news is either way, the game's still going to be a win because that matchup is so dominant. In comes Kyogre, and now Kyurem will get to Ice Fang all the way down, as Kyogre just never has a chance to take this win. Kyogre is going to fire off an Origin Pulse, but Kyurem will get the farm down, and the opponent will resign the match with both shields still intact. Kyurem White staring down a Shadow Riperior. This is an amazing lead. Look at the Ice Fangs go as Riperior is getting absolutely melted. Shadow Riperiors do love to bait. We are going to see the shield come up. It is going to be the Breaking Swipe bait. Riperior makes a last second Breaking Swipe, but it's caught onto the Zacian Crown Form where it will be triple resisted. Zacian unfortunately did get debuffed. In comes Kyogre, so now Zacian won't quite have the damage output that it typically would. Zacian does get to the back-to-back close combats. Let's see this damage. Even though it is one stage debuffed, it can still two-shot Kyogre. The damage output from Zacian Crown Form is unbelievable. Opponent CMP tied as well. Oh my goodness, trainer, no. Now we see the aggressive switch into the Kyurem, and Kyurem is going to fire off the Fusion Flare. Opponent actually makes a catch onto their own Zacian. They have the Zacian Crown Form as well. Can they get the full farm down here? It looks like they will. Kyurem got the back-to-back Fusion Flares, but the Metal Claw that snuck through will be enough to knock out here. The opponent is still going to take massive damage from that Fusion Flare, and I think you can just let this go and win the game with Riperior. In comes Riperior, getting the Mud Slap farm down, and now the opponent is going to send back in Kyogre, but it's so low that Kyogre can actually get Mud Slapped down here by the Riperior. Riperior commits the shield. All that's left in the back is the opponent's 1 HP Riperior, and they will resign the match. Bad lead in the next match, Kyurem staring down Dialga. The safe switch into Riperior answered with Palkia, and if this Riperior does want a double shield, Riperior will always win the 2 shield against Palkia. Riperior is going to go for the Breaking Swipe. You can win the 2 straight Breaking Swipe, or if you're able to successfully land a Rock Wrecker through the shields, then you can farm down. We are going to see a guaranteed no shield here from the opponent because Palkia is not going to win the 2s, so it would be a strict misplay for the opponent to double shield in this matchup. Instead, it's far better for them to play to the shield situation that they can win, which is going to be the 1s. So Mr. Pusha is able to win the switch advantage, which is quite nice, but is down a shield. Breaking Swipe is going to apply a debuff. Riperior can make the Rock Wrecker here as well, and Dialga is losing so much ground. Dialga going to take big damage from the Rock Wrecker. Dialga does get the farm down, but not by much. In comes Zacian in the back. It's going to be a Shadow Claw Kyurem Black, and this is going to be a tough game to win. Kyurem Black is going to go for the free shock. That's big damage. Oh my goodness, didn't throw the move. Had the fusion flare, and throwing that fusion flare would have just won the game, but unfortunately did not click the fusion flare. And now I think the Kyurem is actually going to make this move, and the Kyurem does make the move. Oh no. Mr. Pusha may not have realized that they survived that move, but they had it. And if they just throw the move, that game is a win. Hopping into the next match, leading Kyurem into Duskmane. Not the most comfortable matchup for Kyurem, since Duskmane does have a pacing advantage here. Duskmane going to strike first with an Iron Head, and Kyurem with an immediate no shield. That does way too much damage. The Fusion Flare is a guaranteed shield here from the opponent, because it just hits way too hard, and now we will see Riperior hit the field. Riperior is answered with Palkia, and I love this Rock Wrecker. Down a shield, opponent is unlikely to commit the final shield here. They actually do double shield, but to me, this is a massive mistake from them, as unless they have a Ho-Oh in the back, they've basically guaranteed a loss to the crowned Zacian in the back. Riperior is going to give back one shield in exchange for firing off a Breaking Swipe. Breaking Swipe is going to land. Riperior more than happy just to let itself go, as this is going to be a really nice Metal Claw farm down for the Zacian. In comes the Zacian. Zacian gets that full farm down. Opponent better hope they have a Ho-Oh in the back. They're going to send out the Necrozma. So far, we still don't know what their final Pokemon is. Necrozma going to be met with the close combat. That picks up the KO. It's Dialga in the back. And there's just no hope for the opponent. The defense is already -2 on the Zacian, but good luck, trainer. Close combat lands. There's the Kyurem snipe. And that's a good game. Kyurem into crowned Zacian once again. The safe switch into Riperior. Opponent is going to respond with Kyurem White. Now Kyurem White does oftentimes have to respect the Rock Wrecker here. It hits for huge damage, and the opponent is going to commit the shield. No Breaking Swipe debuff comes through, and if the opponent's counting, they will know this is only a Breaking Swipe and they can no shield. And the opponent is going to do just that. So Kyurem is going to exit with a ton of energy. You kind of have to bring in your own Kyurem and just sacrifice it here, so I do like the no shield. Opponent is going to go for the Fusion Flare, immediately followed by Fusion Flare number 2. This won't KO, so the Zacian can switch in here. Ooh, unfortunately the Kyurem gets farmed down. I would have loved to see the Zacian switched in there and go for a Metal Claw snipe, and that way, potentially, the Kyurem could have been preserved as a catch. Because in the back is going to be Palkia. Things looking pretty good for Zacian, but with no ability to reset the close combat defense drops, that could be what turns this game to a loss. Well, close combat number 1 is going to be unleashed by the Zacian. That's big damage onto the Palkia. Palkia is going to be firing off another Aqua Tail. And I think at this point, this is looking like a loss unless a farm down can happen, and it falls agonizingly short. And the decision to not save the low health Kyurem is going to end up being the difference maker in this game. Back in comes the Zacian. Zacian, massive damage from Behemoth Blade, but there's just no way to double up on close combats before the opponent is going to get to their first. So the opponent is going to be able to take the win. But man, Zacian up a shield is just absolutely terrifying. And we see there, this trainer having an amazing run with this team, as I believe that is a 4-1 set. It's Charm Primarina on the lead in the next match. The safe switch into Riperior, answered with Kyogre, and this is looking like one of those triple water teams with Palkia in the back. These triple water teams, they kind of died out for a while, but it appears this trainer is still trying to run it. Obviously, Kyogre finding its target in the Riperior, and Riperior here actually trying to let the Kyogre knock it out, but the Kyogre stopped tapping because the Kyogre does not want to give farm to the Kyurem. They know that even though Kyurem is fully walled by Primarina, Primarina does not have great stats, so an Ice Burn will still inflict quite a lot of damage. Kyogre is going to get to fire off another Surf. This, again, will not knock out, and Kyurem is going to get the farm down. Look at a switch into Zacian. Opponent going to stay in with the Primarina, fire off the Hydro Cannon, and Hydro Cannon is going to be shielded up. Primarina probably going to look to switch out here, and they do, and out comes Palkia. Zacian farming up. That's a massive misplay by the opponent. as Palkia, they need to wait till the close combat is thrown, because then they can actually pressure a shield. Whereas now, that's a very easy no shield for this Zacian. Zacian gonna go for close combat number 2, continuing to ramp up the pressure on this Palkia. Palkia is gonna shield. There's the combo play and a snipe with the Kyurem. Kyurem firing off the Ice Burn, that picks up the KO. The opponent's gonna try and win this game with Primarina, but they are never charming down Crown Form Zacian. Crown Form Zacian stats are just too good. Crown Form Zacian is gonna get the full Metal Claw farm down to secure the win. Hopping into the final match, Kyurem staring down Duskmane Necrozma once again. Duskmane is going to actually throw on 8 here, so they are bluffing a potential Outrage, but it is only going to be a Dark Pulse. Opponent now going to send in a Dragon Breath Gyarados. Now that is not something that I was expecting to see, but actually is a bit of a core breaker for this team, as Gyarados is completely walling off the charge moves, and I guess the fast move as well, from the Crown Form Zacian. Even so, Metal Claws almost have Gyarados at half HP, which is absolutely ridiculous. Crown Form Zacian is just such a threat in the Master League. Behemoth Blade, even resisted, still almost picks up the KO. This Aqua Tail will not knock out here, but it could potentially set up farm for the opponent if it lands, so we will see the shield used. Looking to prioritize Zacian HP. Is the opponent going to bring back in Duskmane Necrozma? No, they're going to bring in Kyogre, and Kyogre is going to be met with the back-to-back close combats. Close combat number 1 is going to land. That's big damage, and the waterfall does not knock out, which means close combat number 2 is swiftly followed thereafter. And the opponent just lets it go. They're going to try and sweep with Duskmane, but in comes Riperior, and there was just never a hope for this opponent. The moment they gave up Kyogre, Riperior was just unstoppable. Opponent sees the writing on the wall and concedes the match. All in all, Crown Form Zacian is unbelievably strong in the Open Master League. And the thing that I'm excited about is it's apparently a form change from existing Zacians. So once the global Go Fest comes around, you can use your existing Zacian. You don't have to build a new one, and as long as you have Iron Head when you form change, it'll get Behemoth Blade. But this represents an immediate upgrade to Zacian. Adding the Steel subtyping turns it from a Pokemon that was already good into the Dragons into an absolute Dragon Slayer, and Behemoth Blade is an incredibly OP move. So if you have the ability to go to one of the in-person Go Fest or just play the global Go Fest, either one, make sure to get one of these for the Master League, because my goodness, it is absolutely incredible. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoy watching content like this, please do consider leaving a like on the video and subscribing to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you as always to our channel members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is genuinely so appreciated. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.